In today's video, we're talking about the upcoming break from the Euro USD and which way this market could head, as well as some targets to watch, and also the latest on the DXY. So full disclosure, this is actually the second time I am recording this because no sooner than I finished the first video and Trump came out and said that he is not stopping the tariffs. So of course we saw the Euro USD dip on that, the DXY rally, etc. So I am refilming this just because it didn't really change anything too much in terms of the consolidation that we've seen. But I do want to give you guys kind of the latest and greatest as best I can with what's going on with these markets. So with regard to that, okay, we just saw the Euro USD, as I said, dip after those comments from Trump. And we'll see if this sticks, right? I mean, this was kind of the sweep that we saw of these highs. We saw a little sweep here from market makers. And then this right here was the sell-off on that news. So is it really news, though? I mean, everybody kind of knew that he wasn't going to back off on the tariffs, but I think coming out and saying it like that, it does kind of reinforce the fact that he's really serious about the tariff and he's not going to back down. So we did see the market dip a little bit. However, at the same time, the market is still very sideways. The euro is still very sideways over the last couple of weeks, really between 1.046 or so and 1.0533. Now, I did want to talk about this trend line down here off of the February low. So all month long, if you look at the 4-hour time frame, we have seen the Euro USD test this level time and time again, and it's becoming a very strong trend line down here, but also one worth watching because a breakdown from this, if we were to get it, would be an early indication of, potentially a move lower within this range. Because keep in mind that, regardless of how bullish people are on the euro and bearish on the US dollar, even if that does play out, even if we see this market break higher, you've got to keep in mind that ever since back here in December, the Euro USD really has just been range bound. So if you're getting bullish up here, in my opinion, that is a very dangerous, place to be getting bullish because you're getting bullish right here into these highs, right here into these range highs for the Euro USD around 1.0533. Now, another thing too is, like I mentioned recently, these back here are equal highs, meaning that this high right here is equal to this one. We did not see the market come up here and flush the liquidity from back here. So what that tells us is that there is going to be liquidity sitting above these highs. So that could be a magnet here for the Euro USD. Market makers may want to flush these highs first before we get a pullback. So what I would be looking for, and it might not materialize, but that doesn't really matter because I'm not here to catch every single move. However, if we were to get the Euro USD coming up here and taking out these highs, and then closing back below, so closing above and then closing back below, then that could represent a potential fake out for the move lower. And alternatively, like I said, if we were to get a breakdown from this trend line here off of that February low, followed by a break below this 1.046 area. All right, so through here, if we were to get a sustained break below this, then you're looking at a potential resumption of this range here down toward levels like 1.035, which is also very close to the mid-range. So if you were to take your fibs here from the low down here, calling this the range low, calling these up here the range high, you can see where technically the 50%, the mid-range, does come in a little bit higher, up around 1.0375. But ultimately, if we were to get a breakdown, this down here would be kind of your first stop for the euro and then potentially those range lows. And alternatively, if we were to get a break higher, because we can't sit here and get backed into a corner thinking that we know what's going to happen with this market. I know a lot of people, after I put out videos like this, will comment and say the market is going to go higher, it's going to go lower. But the fact is we don't know. Nobody out there knows, especially when a market goes sideways like this. So we have to entertain both outcomes just in case. And if we were to get the euro closing above these highs and maintaining this, okay, that's what's going to be key, is to get daily closes above this and maintain this, then we could get a pushback here toward 106.15. All right, because like I've said recently too, if we were to see the euro continue to push higher, then you've got areas like this back here, this November breakdown, where we really didn't see a retest of this region, okay? We saw the market come down here, go sideways here for a few weeks, a couple months, in fact, before we got the next leg lower. So this up here above 106.15 would be really interesting if we do get the Euro USD pushing higher. However, I will go out on a limb here, guys, and say that, I think looking at this chart, looking at even the pound and the DXY, I do think that there is the potential for a resumption of this range. And I'll show you why with the DXY. But right now, I would not be at all surprised to see the Euro USD, whether we get these highs taken out or not, I would not be at all surprised to see this area down here fail and simply get a resumption of this range that we've seen. And the reason for that, if we look at the DXY, it's a little bit clearer here on this chart with the US dollar index. But even though the market is technically still below this trend line that we've talked about up here around 107, in my opinion, this is kind of the hinge for the US dollar index, to where if we were to see the DXY reclaim this area, so closing back up here, then of course that would reclaim this range, right, from this high up here, back here toward the low. And then you've got that potential for the move back toward areas like 109, right? So this is going to be key here around 107. And obviously with the DXY below that, there's no reason to get overly bullish on the US dollar. However, at the same time, and I've talked about this in recent videos, but if you take a look at the price action since this high back here in early February, right, you could make the case that the market is getting a little bit tight down here in this consolidation, and that this February correction is starting to run out of gas. And one thing that you can note here is off of these lows, it doesn't really matter which one you draw it from. The idea is the same here, right? Where you've got the market coming off of these lows down here, and then you have the potential, right, for another trend line up here off of these highs. And you can see where the DXY actually tested this today. Okay, so if you'll notice here, today, during today's session here on Wednesday, we got the market actually coming down here close to this lower level down here. However, you can see that this was tested on Monday. And what you'll notice is that today's high came right off of this trend line. Okay, so right here with today's high, let's see, 106.65. That is going to be the level to watch here as we move into Thursday's session. So if we get a break above this level here over the next couple of days, then we could get that push toward 107, right? That trend line we just looked at, and then close back above this area here, and you're looking at a resumption of this range, all right? Now, if that lines up with the Euro USD breaking down, and again, we don't know what's going to happen here. Okay, we don't know if this is going to break down or not, but if it does, and we get the Euro USD breaking below areas like this with the DXY breaking that trend line we just looked at to the upside, then of course you have the potential for a resumption of this range that we have now seen for months. All right, so again, guys, the jury is out right now on whether we get a bullish break from this or not. But I would really be careful if we were to see the Euro USD even break above these highs. I would be very careful with something like that just because of the price action we've seen out there in February. Now, I could be completely wrong. We could see the euro come up here, head higher up here toward areas like, 106.15, 107, in which case, so be it. I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't have a dog in this fight, at least not yet. But I think that if we were to get a close above areas like this here, right, sweep this liquidity and then close back below, that could be really interesting there. Or like I said, if the market does just break below this region here, then you've got this range to play that has become very well defined. And again, you've got that mid-range followed by those range lows. So all in all, guys, I do think that we are going to see the Euro USD head lower. However, the question is, do we get a breakdown from the support area, or do we get some of these highs back here getting flushed first before we get that return to those lows? That, in my opinion, is the big question. But, regardless, I really won't be trading this until we get something definitive from these markets. And so far, we don't have that. So that's it, guys. Again, I did want to film this twice just because we did see those comments from Trump. And you can see, again, this is the reaction from that comment. We'll see if we have follow through from this or not, though. That's been the one thing that has been very difficult to come by with these markets over the last few weeks is follow through. You tend to get big moves like this, the market stalls out and then reverses the other way. And this is just, heaven for market makers. They're just basically sweeping traders to one side and then the other. So we'll see if we get some follow through here, much needed. We will be talking about this in the VIP Discord group though. So if you guys do want to join us, be sure to check out the link in the description of this video for 85% off lifetime access. Or if you're on the website, click on that join VIP link. And in there, I'm in there every day. You'll see my trades in real time, also my trade ideas, and get 2 videos per week and also the full course. So check that out, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the bell for notifications because I am putting out these videos throughout the week.